Hello, hello. Thank you so much for being here, subscribers. I do have it on a 10-minute timer to kind of keep it more professional so that, we don't have any drama coming in and kind of disrupting the fun. Um, so if you want to come in and chat and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and start now because it's going to be 10 minutes. Um, all right, guys. So we have the infamous Nicole Marie from Twitter who has been discussing the Michael Vaughan case with her team, and we have Millennial Phoenix, Doxy, Jess, Bonnie, Moxie, and then of course Nicole Marie. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm just going to be kind of frank about what's been going on, and that is the fact that anytime that we discuss um, the Michael Vaughan case, that is not a linear path of what we have been told, and that if we deviate from what is the norm on any social media platform, that is, we just need to share this information, the flyers, wear bracelets, get T-shirts, and keep him in our minds. If we deviate from that, I guarantee you will get flack from someone or somewhere. And it's very alarming to me. I've never had that happen to me before. Of course, I am new to YouTube, so this is quite the experience for me to get that. But I wanted to have the team here who has been in kind of the front lines of not only some drama, but some inconsistencies, things that they know to be uh, true on their end, and why that's the case. And maybe, clearing up the air on their side, because on YouTube, you're only getting one side and everyone is bashing these people who have worked really hard over the last 9 months. And I think it would be only fair to clear it up on their end as well. So today, I did notice that Navalis, Brooke from Crime Lines and Lies, who at one time I really looked up to. I mean, I really loved her show. I was on panel a lot. We were having great discussions. And then with the Michael Vaughan case just recently, I mean, it just went south immediately. Um, and I do believe it's because I didn't follow protocol and script and the script that 90% of the people out there are doing. All right. And that's okay. I also got grief for saying what my theory is. And damn the luck, I am not alone in my theory. And I really thought that I would be. But wouldn't you know it, there are people out there that are not on YouTube, but have an opinion that does not follow suit like everyone else. So, having said that, what we're going to do is we're not going to watch the video of Brooks live. But because there were things said about the case that I feel and the panel that we have here is erroneous in some ways, and they also have a right to and a voice to speak up for themselves and take up for themselves. And on my platform, I'm giving them that just like I would anyone else. So, having said that, before we play Crime Line and Lies live that they did today, where they stated true crime community is reaching. Um, there's some character assassination without saying names. Um, and I'm just going to tell you guys something. I do not like beating around the bush, and I don't like having to feel like I have to be candid about a case where there is a 5-year-old missing boy. I don't like playing games, and this team doesn't either. And so that's why I appreciate them for being here. So please, everyone, say hello and be very respectful in the chat. Mods, if you see any disrespect at all, any hatefulness towards the panel, please uh, do what you got to do. You know the rules. Hi, Shannon. I'm going to say hi to everybody because that's what I do here. I do see some new faces here. Hi, Ashley, Jennifer. I can't deal. Hey. Hey, single mom. Hi, mods. Grammy H, you know I love you. Romero, hello. Thank you so much for being here. Pink Butterfly, Guidance, my girl. And Doxymoron, you're here. Shannon Siplovic. Sorry if I butchered that. And everyone else, if I missed you, so sorry about that. All right, so I think we lost Nicole. So, oh, there she is. You there?
Yep, I'm here. Please tell me you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, thank God. Oh, yes. I've always heard you all clearly.
Okay, good. I don't know if you heard everything, but basically, before we get into listening to uh, crime lines and lies, I always have a hard time saying that. That's like a mouthful. Um, before we get into kind of listening to some of those things so that you guys can clear up your side of things, Nicole, do you just want to kind of give your backstory from the beginning to where we're at in a little summary?
With Michael.
Yes.
So I guess I'll start by saying that I understand that probably everyone.
Look at me, mine. I got mustache.
Yeah, he drew all over his face with mustache. So, I didn't start looking at Michael's case, automatically assuming the absolute worst. It's not my first missing child case. I know what all the possibilities are, and I feel like it's important to the children or anyone missing to not, immediately rule anything out as impossible or um, not likely, because everything is a possibility until it's not. And we made it all the way through until I would say January, before kind of, everything started not adding up. And like I said, I, oh my God, I'm watching my child draw himself a mustache with markers. Will you please not do that?
But I'm making a rainbow mustache.
Okay. So,
Done.
I want to find Michael. I don't want to argue with anyone. I like to be a safe place for people to drop information. I like to get the truth. I mean, I feel like that's what.
Mommy, look at me. I got happy.
I see. That's what that's what I owe the kids. And I understand that it may be offensive, but to be totally honest with you, if it brings a kid home, I highly doubt that any parent, knowing and finally having answers to where their child is, I don't think that that's something that would be held a grudge against me forever, and that's worth it to me.
Right.
In the meantime, to be like the bad guy or the Twitter weasel, because I do what I've seen work. If I see something else work, I'll do it that way. But so far, we've been pretty efficient, and I will happily be, the take the brunt of everything for Michael. And the facts is that there are things that are questionable, and I think ignoring them because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You know, how is the parents' feelings going to be a year from now when they still don't
Mommy,
have a
look at
single
my
clue what
leg.
happened to their child? I see that.
Now I just need to lift it up.
So
Hey,
that's where we're at. There's questions. They need answers, and I demand to know the answers, the real and true answers, so we can move forward and hopefully find Michael.
Yeah, yeah, but we all want that. And I'll be honest with you, I think I saw you once months ago. Wet My Planties, we all know who she is.
Oh yes, I love Ash. I love her.
I love her. She's a wonderful human being. And we were talking on Twitter. I think she got off of YouTube for a hot minute. So I was like, hey, how's everything going? And she was like, well, after this space recording the other day with Brandy, I don't know what to think. Like, it hit her right in between the eyes. And so I was like, what are you talking about? I had no idea. And then I listened to maybe 20 minutes and I was like, Brandy's just going through a tough time. I mean, a horrible time, a time where no parent wants to go through. And so I just kind of brushed it off like, and I'm telling you, everybody's doing that. But if you literally give 20 minutes of your time to listen to why these ladies say what they say, they're not just making things up out of the air. Nicole has experience in other cases, Gabby Petita being one of them. And actually, we both just found out that we were working with the mom of another missing teen. And I didn't know that. But I think I was in a different time, like right when it started, literally the day it started. And then I kind of drifted out of that. But anyway, she was the one that helped get someone to call in and say, this is the deal, and bring her home. So that in itself is something worth considering, bare minimum. And to just dismiss anybody because it doesn't follow a narrative, that is the biggest problem of social media that we have, is that it's one way or the other. And not only that, I made a comment earlier to, I think, the money tactic. And I kind of wanted to read it because I was kind of surprised at myself that I put this long rant on. But basically, these creators out here, or on any social media platform, are rallying to have this voice for missing children. And ideas are great. However, as soon as someone gets super close to someone involved in a missing person or, a unsolved case of some kind, it's almost like they monopolize on the case and you have to follow that or else. It's like the chopping block, Hell's Kitchen style. And that has been a problem for a while on this platform, but I think others too. And so my point is that we as a YouTube community, and especially in the true crime community, when dealing with missing children, we have got to stop trying to get so close to the people involved in these cases that it muddles your judgment and it takes away from the child who is missing. And these girls, in my opinion, are the ones that are doing that. And so I thank you all for being here, because it's not easy. It can't be easy to be the Twitter weasel, like you said. I know you guys get a lot of hate. I see it all the time. So having said that, does anyone else want to kind of jump in and say how you got here or how you got to this point and how you met Nicole? And
I fully expect Jess to speak at the very least.
I was thinking.
Jess should go first. Yes.
You remind me of me because you're just like, let's just straight to Final Jeopardy. Let's do this. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm like staring at Jess's picture. I don't want to have to send her a text message.
Well, I can break in and say how I got here. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yes, Moxie.
Hey. So I think a lot of us came to the missing community for various reasons during the Gabby Petito case, and kind of organically started working together based on, similar work styles and personality and stuff like that. And so it's really become like a community there. A lot of us are really close friends. Even, outside of Twitter, there's real life connections and stuff like that. And so all of our reasons for being here, I think, are personal or different, but most of us have come from some sort of a background that definitely gives us interest in dealing with missing persons cases, whether it's been experience with, people that we know that have had a background in addiction or something like that, that oftentimes leads to domestic violence cases or, unfortunately, missing people. So there's a lot of ties that bond us together. But for me personally, it was during the Gabby Petito case. And Nicole has been one of, and Jess have been, two of the people that I've, kind of been in contact with the longest on Twitter. So that's my story. That's how I'm here.
That's
I agree with
awesome.
everything that you said, Moxie, and she's right. I mean, it really kind of has become a family. I think a lot of us feel that way. And I just saw Nicole tweeting about the Brian Laundrie case, and well, it was Brian Laundrie at that time. By the time I had connected with her, Gabby, I think, had just been found.
Thank you,
and I
single
reached
mom.
out to her. I sent her a DM. I saw that she was digging on some stuff, and I said, hey, if you ever need help digging. And she immediately responded and said, I always need a digger. And we just kind of went from there, and we've been going at it ever since.
Yeah, you have. All of you. Like I jumped on a space and was just like, how? And I was all flustered and mad because I was like, this came out of nowhere. Like literally 30 minutes after I got off of the live, I was getting bamboozled by multiple creators, not just Crime Lines and Lies and Navalis. It was other creators, basically saying, "How dare you?" Right? And I was like, "How dare you not question it? You don't even know what you're not questioning."
I mean,
Exactly.
my biggest issue with that is that how can you try to make another individual feel shameful for what they're doing when you're not even looking or reading or glancing? I get that my Twitter is an absolute mess. But there is a lot of information, answers to every question. And if someone comes to me and they have a question, I don't say, go scroll through my, 10,000 tweets and find the answer, which is something that you'll encounter, for instance, if you go, Michael Vaughan only has 2 Facebook groups. And that is it. Well, and mine, but it's super locked down. I mean, we just chat in there, but, that's like part of the group rules. Eve, I don't know if you saw that, the, long list of group rules and like the announcement that says like, we've already answered questions a million times.
Yes.
So we're not going to answer if you ask them, go look, at Fruitland's website, go look on this Facebook page. All of the answers to your questions are there. And I had joined that, and I could find no answers, none, for anything. So, and I'm seeing this
Exactly.
comment pop up, others ask questions, the answers are avoided or not clear. I would almost rather they be totally avoided than be just absolute. I don't want to say lies, but I mean, to say something that's just absolutely not true and not verifiable in any way, is just not fair. It's not fair to Michael at all. I'd rather you just say, I don't know, or I'm not going to tell
Right.
you.
Right.
And
I
I
think
also want to,
oh, go
oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, Eve, when you first popped into the spaces at that point, we had kind of, people had brought to our attention all of the other creators on YouTube. And we started watching some of the videos and saw, and heard Nicole's name mostly, and, the team by association, and everything that they were saying about us. And when you popped in, I knew that you were from YouTube, and we were all kind of like, is this going to be an attack? Like, because I saw
I
that,
don't blame
that
you. Right.
you had wanted to speak, and I had never spoken to you before at that point. And we were all kind of nervous, and we were like, yeah, no, let's bring her up. And I was so thankful that you were so open to listening to everything. And I think that my main, I don't know. I think the thing that really gets me is that in all of them, they, really kind of stressed the fact that we are trying to attack Brandy and Michael's whole family. And I just want to be very clear in that none of us have ever intended to or meant to. And in my opinion, I don't think that we ever have attacked Brandy or Tyler. At no point in time have any of us said that, they did this, that they are directly involved. I think Nicole's main goal has been, as she said all along, finding the truth. And I think that a lot of things have been, either covered up or just not shared. And I think that, a lot of the family is working hard to make sure that some things don't come out. And I think that, all of us really just want to make sure that the entire truth is out there. And I think that is the most important thing in finding Michael. I don't think that we're going to find him when we only have half truths. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I
Exactly.
was just very appreciative of you being so open to listening,
Absolutely.
to all
No,
of it.
this is about Michael Vaughan. And I am seeing, I try to be as fair as I can on my channel. I apologize when I step out of line, because sometimes, like, you just say things in the heat of the moment that you don't really think about until later, and you're like, shoot, maybe that was an opinion that went too far. Which I did apologize on my live to Brandy and Tyler for. I think I might have stepped out of line a little bit about my theory, but I have a right to say that. And I also make sure that this is all alleged, and no one is guilty until they're innocent until proven guilty by law. So I make sure that is there. And I try to be as respectful as I can. But there are times when you see some of the same issues that you see in other cases, where the parents and the timelines aren't matching up, and you're only seeing one parent, and you're not really able to get the clear-cut answers that you need from law enforcement or an update. And not only that, they retracted some of the stuff on Facebook and on the
Absolutely.
website. So you're like, well, what the hell do I do now? When I'm, when everyone's researching, you're like, well, was that wrong? They're not saying. And we really don't know exactly when that taking down some of the stuff, like the news conference with Tyler and Brandy and her sister. That's not on there anymore. There's only 2 statements.
Correct.
And one of the statements is on the website, and then there's a Facebook update post. One was
Right.
from what, August 4th? The original? Um, yeah, August 4th
And
briefing,
and the most recent, I think, was January.
January 27th or
Yep.
8th. Yeah. So we don't know exactly when they changed all of that. Like, some Facebook group pages, you'll see when things were edited. I can see when they edited a post, but obviously if it's gone, it's gone. You can't see when they took it down. So, so there's really nothing to go off of except for basically everything is still on the table. There is no stone left unturned. Um, there is no uh, comment from the Fruitland PD website or Facebook page that says anyone's cleared at all.
Correct. And Brandy, even herself, I had a discussion with somebody about that, and I think it was on one of Nicole's tweets, where somebody came in and was all kinds of upset about what was being said because Brandy and Tyler had been cleared. And I said back, no, actually, I don't believe anybody has been cleared. And we went back and forth quite a few times. And I think it was Crystal who jumped in and she said, no, I just spoke with Brandy and she also agrees that neither her nor Tyler, no one has been cleared in all of this. I think them saying that the family has been very, fully cooperative is something entirely different than saying that they've been cleared. And I think I see a lot of people commenting on a lot of Nicole's stuff saying that that it's not true or that she's making things up. And the entire team, the stuff that Nicole puts out, every single bit of it has been verified. I don't think that she puts anything out that has not been verified unless she specifically states that it is, either a theory or she's asking questions, and things like that.
Or on rare occasions, I will post for a reaction or to figure out the answer to a question. So we had like a big incident where I had like all of Twitter ready to blow up because of a timestamp, and that was basically, as many eyes as possible looking at a single piece of information to find out what is true and what is not, instead of just assuming that what I see, with my own eyes immediately has to be so. There's a lot of digging. There's a lot of digging and a lot of verifying and a lot of, okay, Jess, I know you've been working on this for like 7 hours, but explain it to me again. Explain it to me again. Well, how is that connected to this? I don't just say whatever. I think that's how rumors in these cases start. So if I'm going to post it, know that I can show you where it came from, if that makes sense. And I kind of expect the
Right.
same. I expect the same.
Yeah, no, I love accountability, especially if it's me um, being wrong. Totally. I think that you should be candid, right?
Oh, I'm not always right. There has been times where I've mixed something up or forgotten a date, or, someone found a piece of information that we kind of went with and on a whim, and it played out differently. And we've gone back, and I will say something about the people that follow all of my tweets, and especially for Michael. Um, they've said, well, I thought I heard this, or I thought this person was here. And once it gets cleared up, they delete it, because our intention is not to just have a bunch of useless information put out there.
Exactly. Exactly. And your channel is called All Things Said, right?
The right reasons.
Oh, the right reasons. I was totally off. Um, the right reasons is Nicole's new YouTube page. Are you all going to be kind of doing a panel on that channel, or have you figured it out yet? Or
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure that we will do this. Everybody's involved. Moxie actually, and I'm gonna put her on the spot. You know, she wrote. So I put out like an initial video. I don't know anything about YouTube, um, except for that I stalk it to find information about missing person cases. But Moxie actually wrote what I said, and even, got it down to where she was picking out screenshots and telling, she basically did the entire thing. And then in like a matter of 30 minutes, and then I fretted over it for a week, to put out something that was like so plain. But, she should be like writing speeches for presidents. She's so well spoken. So, anything you see, except for obviously panels, that's 99% of the time is going to be Moxie. Um, but it's our channel, and not just the team's channel. It's everyone on YouTube or on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Everyone that's on Twitter, commenting and going back and forth with us, and sending messages to my DMs with information that they found and spreadsheets that they've made. It's all of ours. It's our channel. So anybody could be there at any time.
I'm going to flip this back on you, Nicole, really quickly, because Moxie killed everything that she wrote. It was amazing, but it also, I feel like she captured you so perfectly. And I want everybody to know that is actually who you are. If you meet or talk to Nicole, there is nothing that she said in that was not just entirely Nicole. That is who she is to a T.
That is correct. So, obviously, I know Nicole, and I know like why she's doing this. I know what her motivations are. But on top of that, we talk about these things, and what I did was went through her tweets. So these were her words that she said, and so this, absolutely is Nicole. And that part was really important to me, for her to be able to verbalize to people, because some of the attacks and things that are being said are, clearly people who don't understand why she's doing this, or how we work. And so that's really important for everybody to know. And so, yeah, that absolutely is Nicole, everything that you hear.
Yes, I definitely have been reviewing all of the space recordings that are out there. And uh, I think I went back like 4 months worth of tweets between you guys, and my eyes were crossing and I was foaming, and um, all of these things that were just coming to light. I was like, it's so much. And you have to understand how much time that must have taken. There's no way that you just did this 2 or 3 hours at a time. There's just no way. Um, so really, you guys have to understand that this is not like a drama channel just dropping stuff out of nowhere.
Can I address something really quick? Because a
Sure.
comment just popped up that I happen to see.
Please do.
So Arctic Fox, I know that I had accepted you onto our Facebook page, and I went back and forth with you in a conversation about the information that we are finding and sharing. If you happen to, a day or two from now, still dislike me after you've reviewed the information thoroughly in its entirety, including the spaces that are full of information from Brandy's own mouth, then that's fine. But you are, and others like you, are effectively, very effectively, preventing people from calling in tips to bring home a 5-year-old boy, because they think that anything that is against, the main narrative that has been pushed for so long that is quite honestly ignorant. It is very uneducated, because there's a lot of information besides what is on YouTube. And I have seen every YouTube video on Michael Vaughan from when he went missing until today, and I refresh constantly. So I am passionate about finding Michael. I do not care about clicks. I do not care about drama. I do not care about how many people follow me. I care about Michael and Michael only. And I'm not going to be bullied into not speaking anymore because people are going live on their channels that are not interested in learning the actual information for Michael. So there's no need to be on Eve's live unless you are here to learn. If you're not here to learn, and I know this is not my channel, but if you're not here to learn, you're doing him a disservice, and we don't need this. Neither does Michael, and neither does Brandy, who you say you love.
And also, just for the record, I don't
Yes.
even know where the all for the clicks comes from. None of that is even being tracked. I mean, nothing is monetized. Nicole has been doing this for far longer than Michael, and was a huge player in already bringing a young girl home. So this has nothing to do with anything else other than bringing home the missing kids. And she's right.
And that's been quite some time ago. And no one even really knows the whole story besides
Nope.
my team. So I have done things that I've not found it necessary to say in public. And I don't like talking about myself. So to imply that I'm doing this for anything other than the children is offensive to me and them and their parents, truly.
And trying to manipulate an audience who is really just trying to get the basis of who these beautiful women are and what they do, and then just try to throw out some random basic, it's all for clickety clicks. I mean, it really shows your maturity level, first of all. And second of all, I've never even seen you before, and you're on my platform. So really all I have to say about what he's trying to do is this. That's it.
I will say this. I am a sleuth, a sleuthy goosey, a slutty goose. I've been called them all. But I will tell you what, I am not bad at what I do. And I make sure I'm aware of who I'm speaking with, Arctic Fox. So I would like to, at this point, if you don't care, Eve, and I felt like I had to say that, if
No.
we could direct this
No.
back to Michael, because that's
Yes,
why we're
ma'am.
here. That's
Yes,
why we're
ma'am.
here.
Hey, and can I just say, since we're bridging into Michael now, well, to bridge from Nicole to Michael, when I followed Nicole for the first time when I was watching her in real time on Twitter help find a missing teenager, and I was watching the mom interact, and anything that was asked for, I mean, just willing to go to all lengths, the mom, to find her child. And I just watched Nicole, like, I sitting on the edge of my seat, because she was just like going for it, like, we're gonna find this girl, we're gonna we're gonna save her. And she did it. She did not give up. She put her heart and soul into finding that missing child. And I know that is all she wants to do now. That's all we want to do now, is focus on Michael. And people have to go back to what facts are actually out there now. And if this is a true crime community, then people need to rely on the facts to find the truth. Otherwise, you can't call yourself, part of the true crime community. So if we're going into Michael, I would, I think Nicole knows that I like to analyze the FPD updates, but I want to say the line that's from the last Fruitland Police Department update. One of the last lines says, if someone has or learns of information that can help find Michael, we want that information now. And so there is nothing wrong with us searching for the truth for Michael. It's been, was it almost 8 months now? And the last statement we got from police says that we want that information now. In my opinion, and I'm only one person, that's keeping the child at the center of the conversation and trying to do what's right for the right reasons to bring this child home. So
Exactly. And I'm going to put the link in for the City of Fruitland Police Facebook page. And that's where you're going to get the January 27th, 2022 update. And it just says update the search for Michael Joseph Vaughan. And actually, you know what? I'm going to share it because I think that I've already done this on my live, but I want to just show people exactly what Fruitland Police is telling us to do. And I also want to show the biggest piece of the pie when it comes to being attacked and being told that the parents are cleared. There is nowhere, anywhere from Fruitland PD saying this. And it really
Also,
blows my mind
I'm,
that, that this is being pushed, you know.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in. I was just
Oh,
going
go
to
ahead.
say, Nicole, and I'm not sure if you have this on you or easily accessible, but Nicole reached out to them after that last update that they put out and asked them why
I do.
everything, all of
Mhm.
the past updates had been removed. I think that would be good for people to hear also, Nicole, if you have that.
I did send it to Eve, so I
Yes,
don't know if she can share it.
I'm pulling it up right now. I think that is brilliant too.
And and me saying, or anyone saying, no one is cleared. It's not
Mhm.
even like it gets directed towards the parents, but it's not even just the parent. No one is cleared. No one. No possibilities are off the table. None. So is abduction still a possibility in law enforcement's mind? Yes. But so is, God forbid, him being harmed, him being hidden. They are all possibilities. And to ignore the other possibilities is just, again, it's doing a disservice to Michael. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face.
It's reckless. It's also really reckless.
Eve will show what, that's straight from the Fruitland Police Department's mouth. Every single update. And to be honest, so something that was noticed. Okay, so he just mentioned that Fruitland wants it to be known that they're completely cooperative. However, they deleted every single post on their page, including the 2 press conferences that they had posted, including the one with Brandy. So if you read the only update that's available and you see what the Fruitland Police Department said to me, which you will see here at any moment, the newest update from January 28th is the only update that we are supposed to go by. In that update, it does not mention a time that Michael was last seen. It does not mention anything about vehicles or people that need to be identified or that they need to speak with. And it does not mention the parents or anyone being completely cooperative at all. So if we're just going off of the only update that we now have available to us, which is the only one that Fruitland wants us to be discussing, because it is the only one that is accurate, and you'll see that here in a minute, you kind of have to put out of your mind anything that was said in the previous updates, because that is the purpose of them deleting them.
And not only that, you kind of saw me not so slyly put my cursor around City of Fruitland Police limited who can comment on this post.
Mhm.
Now I will let Nicole or someone else on panel explain why what Brandy said, and we can pull up a clip on that. But honestly, everything is on Nicole's Twitter page, which is at Sleuthy Goosey.
You know what I'm going to do, Eve?
Mhm.
I don't know if you have anything up on the screen because it's black for me. But
Oh,
if
is
you're,
it?
yeah,
Can
I can't
anybody
see.
else see it?
I can see it.
I can see
Of
it
course,
also.
I'm always the lucky one.
Close out the chat, Nicole, if you have that open.
You know what I do? No, it's not working, but it's okay because I literally know what all of these say by heart. So,
Right.
if you're talking about what Brandy said the reason was for them deleting all of the posts, is that what you're referencing?
Yes.
Because I can show you. I don't know YouTube rules or anything like that about what you can post or show in a live, but it is colorful, but I can send you the screenshot, and I'm happy for you to post that as well.
Sure.
Okay.
I will do it. So while we're waiting on that, I wanted to go over. It's very simple. You could read this all day long, but the most important thing here that I want everybody to read is that this says this Facebook page is the only source for credible firsthand information in the case. Please continue to follow this page for more updates as they're available. Please keep Michael, his family, and the investigators working to bring him home in your prayers. Thank you. Not difficult to follow that instruction. Pretty basic stuff. So let's just go up and see kind of the little things that we could pinpoint on. And I, again, went over this in my previous live, and it seems like no one who attacked me saw it. Because if they did, they would understand that what they are saying is inaccurate when saying that the parents have been 100% cleared as fact, and to not question it. I'm sorry, I have 2 pages, one from Facebook and one from I think it's fruitland.org. Yeah, fruitland.org. He's got his own button at the very right of this page. You just click on it, and then here you go. And the only thing that it has on here is the downloadable poster, which they are saying to use this when sharing this for informational purposes, like flyers and hanging them up and stuff like that, and online. So that's what boggles my mind. I kind of have to question people. Have you even read the statements?
I agree.
Like, have you even read it in its entirety? The 2 statements we can go off of. There's nothing else I can say to someone, you know what I mean? But when they push that narrative so hard and everybody's so emotionally attached to, this case, which we all are, but the facts are just right here in front of you. I mean, and not only that, if you go and look at what Nicole and her team has done, and not completely get sideways because you don't agree with something, or they might seem a little catty, which, hey, I'll admit it. I was like, this is getting really dramatic, But then when you start to really put that to the side and see what information they have found out, and, Crystal, the ex-best friend, I don't know if they're friends at all. I would assume no. The things that she has brought to light. And no matter what you think about that, I mean, I understand that you would think, oh, they trusted her and she had to record these calls and write these things down because she was untrusting. Well, you have to consider the fact of, why do you think that she had to go to those links?
And can I make a comment on that real quick?
Sure. And correct me if I'm wrong, please, guys, because
No, you're correct. I just want this to be very, very, very clear the people like Crystal who have spoken to us in no way had um, like 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 this was a very emotional, difficult experience for her, um, because she was really close to Brandy. The thing that is difficult is that they were hearing one thing being told to the public and a completely opposite thing being said in private. And that bothered people's consciences because they knew that it wasn't the truth. That is why they came forward. And I want it to be clear that we have never attacked anybody. I have never said, you know, Brandy's guilty or Tyler's guilty. What I have said is this statement right here that was made is not the truth. This other statement is the truth. All we're doing is correcting untruths, and that's in no way attacking anybody. And Crystal, even
Exactly.
giving us the phone calls was never about attacking anybody. It was about being incredibly conflicted because there was things that were striking her as feeling very wrong because she realized that they were not true.
Right. And I know like we're already almost into an hour and this happens every time. Um, they want you to be sitting here not talking about anything worth a damn and going over the silly basics that you would think everybody who was really involved and really cared about getting Michael Vaughan home would have already done the research and cleared out all of the crap. But that's not the case. It kind of reminds me, guys, of the tactics used in the Summer Wells case, in the Cash Varnon case. This is not new. This is not new tactics, in my opinion, to keep, and I'm not talking about Brandy doing this. I'm talking about creators who feel like they are right and that they own the right to spin the narrative the way they want without the receipts and the facts and the truth because they just feel like they're right and they're so close and too close to the people involved. Not involved, but the parents.
Can I just because I know somehow we've already been through an hour already.
I know.
I see comments. I know two of like the big things that everyone is confused about are, and again, we're making this about the parents and instead of just anyway. So I see a thing that says about being read your Miranda rights will be for anyone they interview. It's common practice. Would you care? I don't know if this is going to sound terrible, but I did pull it up. If I play the clip from law enforcement explaining exactly that.
Do what you got to do.
Tell me if you can't like hear it well, just I guess scream and I'll and I'll stop it.
Okay, we'll do.
I for one want to know about the whole 40, well, however many hours things, even any type of heads up whatsoever. Is that like customary to let someone who you're going to Mirandize know that you intend to do that?
Absolutely not. I can't even begin to think of a reason why that would be appropriate or necessary or would have happened. I know I've been DM'd several times by many people asking about Miranda rights and so forth regarding this case. And, again, to be general, because there's a lot of third-hand information, Miranda rights are used for a very specific purpose, and they're used for anything that's going to be used, any questions related to anything that's going to be used in court. So them advising them 48 hours before is definitely concerning. I personally plan to make a call on that myself because that's very disturbing to me. But I can't think of any reason why they would heads up to that, or if that's just Brandy kind of blowing it out her ass, to be frank, I'm not sure. Jen, could you speak to some of the reasons why that would or should not be done ahead of time? I can literally think of no reason it should be done ahead of time. I mean, Miranda rights are, to give a simple explanation, Miranda rights are advised when somebody is being detained. That doesn't mean necessarily just a jail cell, to be clear. So people who don't understand, detained can mean you're in a room and the detective is blocking a door so you don't feel comfortable leaving. Or it can be as simple as a uniform presence, meaning an officer's there in front of you, you don't feel comfortable leaving. It can be if an officer, and this doesn't apply to this specific situation to be clear, it can be when you get pulled over on a traffic stop and the officer has your driver's license and you're not comfortable or able to leave because they're holding your driver's license or documents, that kind of stuff. So they're given in very specific instances when there's situations where there's stuff that's going to go to court. I just want to just to clarify, they don't calm people down. I've never in my life experienced that, so that's very humorous to me. But they don't calm people down, just to clarify that. And just their
It's kind of getting muddled, I think.
Yeah, it was her mic. It'll.
Would they? You're breaking up, Nicole.
Sorry.
Hey, Jen, if you could mute your mic. Yeah, perfect.
Moxie to the rescue.
What about now? You're good now. Thank you. Okay, Jen, for the interviews for this case, would any and everybody that they speak to regarding Michael's case be read their rights before making statements or anything like that? No, and I would be willing to bet that when Ashley and them spoke to them, they weren't read their rights, just to confirm that. Yeah, I was never read my rights. Yeah, neither was I when we did the group call. Or when she had me on speaker. Yeah, it's done for somebody who's essentially believed to be a suspect in the case or have pertinent information that's going to come up in a court case.
Okay, so I think that's probably enough, and I hope everyone heard. I don't really know what more clarification. I mean, from someone that actually knows what they're talking about, answering the questions specifically. So at this point forward, if there's any kind of argument over it, I mean, you're arguing with law enforcement, which you don't know if you're doing on a daily basis or not anyway, which I also think people should be conscious of.
Exactly. So here's what I have an issue with when it comes to other creators. I told my subscribers from the very beginning that accountability is huge for me. And especially if I'm wrong. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. And so if I'm wrong, I will be the first one to apologize and correct it and try to learn from it. However, when I've never spoken to you and you are a big creator with a lot of followers and likes and all that stuff, and you come in and just say, please stop. So you see Navalis True Crime right here? There's a reason why I put my chats on the side of the screen so that not only can my mods alert me if I miss something, because I am ADHD horribly, but it's on record just in case the live chat doesn't download or work, because that has happened in the past. So anyway, Navalis True Crime says, please stop spreading lies. Now, mind you, I have only played, and I have timestamps for everything on my videos. I was playing, what Brandy herself has said and clarified with these girls, with this team. And so I don't know what exactly the lie is at this point. And Navalis says, Monkey is on camera going away from the house. This hurts him. This stops people from sharing his face and his poster. Now, Nicole, or anyone, what do you think about that statement? Like, is there any validity to any of that?
I think it's absurd. I don't think that it matters whether a child is abducted or potentially deceased. No one is going to stop sharing a photo of a missing child simply because people are throwing theories out there. And I will tell you this, Fresha, who is on my team, she's in Australia. I don't know where she is. Her internet is whacked like mine is, so she probably can't even join this. But she made the digital flyer. Anytime I have ever posted a flyer of Michael, I have had it retweeted, a bunch of times. If anything, the only thing that's hindering Michael's posters from being shared would be the private lockdown Facebook groups where if you share outside of them, people cannot see unless they are part of the Facebook group. That is stopping his picture from being shared.
I noticed that the other day. I was thinking about, okay, wait, if you try to share this outside of this private group, it's going to say it's unavailable, right?
Yes, it does. I've made Brandy aware that because I got blocked even before all of this from both Facebook groups. And I've made her aware, and I know others have, that like when she shares a flyer, like we can't see it at all.
And that's just kind of concerning to me, like the lockdown of this entire thing. And guys, I'm going to tell you something. I am not trying to persuade you at all to think or feel the way that I do. I want you to see it for yourself, research it for yourself, and then make your own conclusions. But once you do start, you see the inconsistencies, and there have been lies, or in Brandy's words, sometimes misunderstandings. And I get it. It's a high stress situation. You're going to get your timelines mixed up. But there's also times where there is no reason, simply no reason to get these things misconstrued, in my opinion. So anyway, again, I'm not trying to persuade anyone. I want you to go look for yourself, because that's where you're going to get, you're going to go to the most reputable source and the best information, because guys, we don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have anything to work on.
Arctic Fox Brandy is our source.
And Brandy is allowed to lie. And so is law enforcement. So it's really, we are just literally have our hands tied, and there's a little boy still missing. And this is what pisses me off so badly, that when I found these girls working their ass off, crying, stressing, they have their own lives, and all we get is just more lies and confusion. And then now we have YouTube creators trying to mob boss me. That is unacceptable. And this is how unacceptable it is to me. I called Fruitland PD because I was so unaware and so afraid that I was putting out misinformation, even though I had checked those two places that I told you are the only credible sources that Fruitland Police Department are telling you to look at. And I still could not find where the parents were cleared. I am not saying they are guilty of anything, but to say that they are cleared when the police department, Fruitland Police Department, has said none of that, there has to be something wrong there, guys. And it's hurting Michael. It's hurting his case. Nicole, are you back? Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I think maybe Nicole has a disconnection issue. And I'm sorry for getting so emotional. You can call me aggressive. I am not a sissy la at all. But I am sensitive to missing persons cases, especially children. And so when things don't add up and I'm getting, in my opinion, persuaded to shut up, you have just kind of released that lion out in me to roar, because there's just something wrong with this. So again, on the right side of your screen, you see, please stop spreading lies. Never clarifies what the lie is. This hurts him. This stops people from sharing his face in his poster. And that is a complete lie. For me, at least, because I share his face every day. I talk about him every day. I research about Michael every day. I wake up and go to bed thinking about, where could this boy be? And I know you guys do. I know that. And have been doing this a lot longer than me. And so I want to kind of jump, and then I think that it would be wise to just kind of go to Brooke's live and just kind of get the gist of what they are talking about over there.
Can I make a comment also really quickly before we do
Sure.
that on one of the comments that just popped up? And Nicole may have to correct me on this because I've been very confused as of late.
Hey,
but
lady.
to my knowledge, I don't believe that there has been any verification that Michael was seen on any door cameras. Do we have Nicole back? Can you tell, Eve?
No.
She did say she was waiting to get back in.
Or
So
Moxie, anybody else? Do you guys have any
to my
comments on
knowledge,
that?
I have never seen law enforcement say that Michael was caught on any cameras. To my
That's
knowledge.
what I thought.
To my
Okay.
knowledge.
Thank you. So yeah, so for those of you commenting that he was seen on camera, I and we can have Nicole confirm this when she comes back just to be safe, but as far as I'm aware, there has never been any confirmation of him being on camera.
Yeah, I have not seen any, to my knowledge. And I also looked at news footage, because you can't really get rid of news footage when law enforcement was taking down all of the stuff that they said were inaccurate, basically.
Right.
Then it's inaccurate if they're taking it down, period. Even if they don't say
That was
that
my
directly.
takeaway. That was my
I think
takeaway
that's a
also,
fair,
yeah.
I think that's a fair assessment, and they probably would not sue me for that because they would lose, right?
Well, it's interesting too, because in the beginning of this case, I feel like, with regard to the news and what the police put out, we actually had more information than what we do today. If we were just to take what is on the Fruitland PD Facebook page today, it's actually less information than what we started with. And I that is really where, for me, my interest peaked in this case. And I really got more interested in taking a deeper dive on it because of that in particular. I can't think of another case like this where there's less information today than we had to start with.
Well, I was thinking about that, guys, and I'm sure Nicole is on the same page, and everyone. There's no real definitive timeline details anymore. Not that there really was that much to begin with, but the neighbors. That was one thing that the red flag went off, I think 2 nights ago, when I was really going back and looking at the news footage and what Fruitland PD was saying to the news. That is not on those 2 documents that we can only look at, right? The neighbors are out. And then I posted a video of one of the neighbors saying about the walking away theory. She was walking her dog when the police department or the law enforcement was coming up to, I guess, talk to Brandy and start the search. And her opinion was, well, we would notice by now if he just wandered off. We would have found him. And so that's just so alarming to me. Not the fact that just increases the abduction theory. to me, I don't know. To me, it makes it even more plausible that somebody would have saw something if she's saying that. Somebody would have seen something. She's basically saying somebody would have noticed. And it just kind of, I don't know. There's just so many of those little things when you start to research this. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry. It was like so quiet. All right. So I don't know if this thing was just playing the whole time, but Navarez comes back and says, reiterates. And I literally have it called Navala Shade and then Navala Shade 2. Just in case you wanted to go and check this out. And not only that, but I seriously called Fruitland Police Department to ask them to clarify on this because they're telling people they're cleared. I did not get a response, which I'm kind of not surprised, but I don't know I just don't know what to think about these things. And I really don't know what to think about the lack of response, you know? And really what they told Nicole was very bland too, like, because it just wasn't accurate. They're not going to tell you exactly what it is, right? And there's your cookie right there. We just don't know what. Nicole, do you have anything to add on that?
Is Nicole out of the chat now or off of the panel now? Because it looks like she may have lost connection again and possibly is waiting to get let back in.
I approved it, so she should be good to go. So maybe she can go back out and come back in. This happens with StreamYard too. Everybody has this issue from time to time. But really quickly, Navalis says, watch my videos if you need on monkey on here. No problems. Please be careful not to spread rumors. Parents have nothing to do with this. What do you guys think about that panel?
I personally think that it would be completely wrong of us any of us to say Brandy is guilty, Tyler is guilty, because we don't know that to be true. It is equally wrong to say Brandy is innocent, Tyler is innocent, because we also don't know that to be true. That has not been verified by law enforcement. So as much as I personally am not attacking or even publicly theorizing about anything, to close your mind to the option without it being verified from law enforcement is a disservice to Michael.
Exactly.
I agree with all of what she said.
I do too. And I want to read another line from the last FPD update from January 27th that says, please know, while not all investigative efforts can be made public, our focus remains strongly on finding Michael, with no stone being left unturned, every option carefully considered, and all leads investigated. So they're still saying that everything is on the table, in other words.
Right. If they're saying no stone being left unturned, that means any and every possibility and tip that has not been checked out will be checked out.
And their exact words are every option carefully considered. So that's why it's been hard to understand. If we're going back to the last thing that law enforcement said when the Facebook page for Fruitland Police Department the City of Fruitland Police Department also says that this is the only source for credible firsthand information. It's just kind of shocking that, I don't even know how to say it. I feel like I constantly go back to these updates and what law enforcement has said. Even though there doesn't seem much to be here, there is, like, Brian Inton, a lot of us know him. There's little nuggets in there if you read it carefully and reread it. And so it's just a little frustrating when people are making claims, but then we don't have, but it's opposite of what has been said by the police department, whether it's factual or if it's opposite of the direction the police department is giving the public, such as, know that every option is being considered. No, this is the only place for credible firsthand information. Saying if anyone knows or learns of information leading to Michael, we want that information now. So I really think it's important that, Nicole's channel too is named the right reasons, because the right questions have to be asked. And that's not to point blame. Just like we aren't able to say who's been cleared, who's not, who's guilty, who's innocent. We can't do that, but we can ask questions, the right questions and legitimate questions to, number one, hopefully find Michael and yes, bring him home, but also two, to get justice for him. And if law enforcement is saying they want that information now, I don't understand what the problem is with asking legitimate questions.
Exactly. And it kind of makes you wonder, what is this hold on people? It's like fairy dust, where you don't have to have law enforcement backed information to just know that law enforcement said something. Am I living in the right universe here? And I'm not trying to be ugly. Am I missing something? Am I missing something? Because I'm literally sitting here questioning my sanity when these people are coming at me, and I just don't understand, So, if anybody can tell me if I'm losing my marbles, and why I am, but if there's something I'm missing, let me know, because I still just can't accept the fact that she is cleared and Tyler is cleared if law enforcement isn't telling me. Now, I will say something, guys. I can't prove it because I did not record this phone call. I was unaware of what this phone call was going to be about. But I don't mind sharing it. However, I can't prove it, so you're just going to have to take it with a grain of salt, or believe me or not. I don't care. I have nothing to hide. I want Michael found. This is the questionable thing. When I asked Brooke from Crime Lines and Lies, can you give me a document or a Facebook post or anything from law enforcement telling me that these two have been cleared? And that was after she adamantly told me that they were cleared, and that police told her this information. And so did Navalis. He said it in the chat. You can go look at my live.
I put out a tweet that said even Brandy herself has admitted that no one has been cleared, including her and Tyler, and she immediately liked it. I'm not sure if she retweeted it, but she agreed with that. So for anybody to say that anybody has come out and said that they are cleared, why they would say that when Brandy disagrees is beyond me.
And did people not think that Twitter wasn't going to trickle into YouTube with this kind of stuff going on? When I found out, I was itching. I did it.
You guys might not come to Twitter very often, but I can assure you that we stalk YouTube all the time for case information and interviews and things like that. you know, again, I understand feeling like you're losing your mind. But the truth about it is that there are verifiable receipts. Yes, there are receipts, and they are, written by Brandy. So, I mean, we're not arguing over whether I just pulled something out of the clear blue sky and decided to start sharing it. We're going off of specifically what we were told. Brandy's been doing spaces since the middle of December. She's been on a ton of times. I haven't seen her on very many YouTube interviews, including the two people that you were just talking about. Have not yet spoken to her actually personally. But we were talking to Brandy regularly, and also Brandy was having spaces daily from like 10 o'clock my time till 4 or 5 in the morning. So, if we're going off of strictly what law enforcement says, so you're either gonna go off of what Brandy says, or you're gonna go off of what law enforcement says, but you can't mix both and then use Brandy's words as law enforcement's words, or your own as law enforcement's words. The only thing law enforcement knows and has relayed to the public is that Michael went missing on July 27th, 2021. They have confirmed that a flip-flop that was found at the river was not his flip-flop. And
It was not.
it was not.
Oh, see? Okay.
But and again, that
Mods, sorry.
Mhm.
Mods, I'm going to kick you in the shins. Guys, please stop messaging my Facebook Messenger because it's coming up on the screen, which I don't care. If you want to air out your dirty laundry on here, I don't care. But it is popping up on the screen. So just letting you know. Stop. Keep going. Sorry.
But I'm just saying, if we're just strictly going off of what they've said, they've never said who saw Michael last. They never said even who he was home with. They never said that he was home with Tyler. They never said that Brandy was at work. They've never said any of that stuff. So if your opinion is to only want to talk about and only want to believe things that are coming directly from the Fruitland Police Department, you're not going to have very much to say.
Nicole, while you were out, we had a brief conversation. I'm not sure if you were able to hear it or not, but whether or not it has been verified that Michael was seen on any cameras. Do you want to speak to that also while we're here?
So law enforcement has not said that Michael was seen on any cameras. And also Brandy has said that Michael was not seen on any cameras. She specified going back from December 18th or 19th when I asked 2 or 3 different times, did they see? No, they only saw Tyler. So there are no cameras that saw Michael.
None.
And I heard a bike
0?
story too. I've never heard that. I've never even heard that from Brandy. That's never even been a thing and then not been a thing.
Right. And even if we did now, it wouldn't matter because we have nothing now. Because they took everything away except for these 2 updates, or one update and then the original briefing. What if it was wrong?
And I will say they don't update. So that Facebook page is where they want you. That's where they direct you.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as that website, it does not seem as though it's paid much attention to. It's not given the degree of attention that the Facebook page does. They've directed, and they want everyone to direct them to the Fruitland Police Department Facebook page. Anytime I've ever sent a message, it's it's been answered. I mean, within 24 hours, usually fairly quickly. So I'd say they're more active there. I don't even know that they're aware that that statement is still on the webpage. I won't answer for them. But I do know that in my messages with them, they were clear that that update from January 28th was the only thing that we should be going off of, the information in it. That's the only official and verified information. And again, so if their idea was for us to forget everything that we've heard up until that point, and that's why they removed everything, you know, we can only go off of the statements that are in that post.
Exactly.
And someone asked, yeah, Tyler was seen on camera. They've been very clear. By they, I mean Brandy and Tyler, back when Tyler was speaking on Spaces in December, that he was seen on camera at the splash pad, which is actually where he went first, headed straight for the splash pad, and then went back to the splash pad and called Brandy. All movements were centered around the cameras. I'm just throwing that out there.
You said all movements were centered around the cameras at the splash pad or around them, the splash pad? Okay. That would make sense. Okay. Now, I know it seems irrelevant, but okay. Because I could only go off of this damn City of Fruitland Police update, vague, they want you to use the posters, the flyers that they made. And I'm going to show you why I think they want that. If you saw this laying on the ground, you would go, oh dang, there's a kid's face there. This looks like something I need to look at. All right. But to me, this looks like one of those jumping bounce house advertisements. And I would pay no attention to this. I see this on a daily with my 3-year-old. I mean, I see these kind of papers everywhere. I would not give it two looks. And I think that's what they're trying to say with that. This is what I'm getting. And I know it seems like I'm reaching, but I'm seriously not. I would not look at this. Yes, is it colorful and bright? What, toddler book or paper isn't, And so I think that that's what they were trying to say is to use their flyers. But all I see are these new ones. Now, don't get me wrong. That digital flyer is brilliant. And if I were law enforcement, I'd be using it. But, I'm not law enforcement. But all I see is new flyers. And that's not, we need to be pushing his face out there all the time. I just don't see where we're going anywhere just by doing that and having the lies kind of being spread and not clarified and then getting kind of bullied for not doing it. And we really do need to move on to just a few things about Brooks Live. But one of the things that I really wanted to say, and again, you don't know if I'm telling the truth or not, but I was told after I asked Brooke from Crime Lies, show me the proof that they're cleared. Do you know what she said to me? She said, well, the police aren't going to tell you that because of the perpetrator. If they have that information, then they might make a move. Nicole, I would love to hear your opinion on that. And then she jumps off. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any opinions on that?
I was reading a comment. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Brooke from a creator. Okay, Brooke the creator. She said to me on a phone call, so I can't prove it because I didn't record it, but she said that because she can't prove it to me or have any kind of backup documentation that they are cleared, it's because law enforcement doesn't want the perp to know that information, or that it might be it'll throw them off and give them a head start, basically, which is what Brandy has said. I know I've heard her say something like that on a space before.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean,
That's contradictory there, because if that's the case, then why are, if that's the case, then why are people giving 48-hour to a week notice on being Mirandized? Because if you're bringing someone in for formal questioning, then they might be, it's different than giving a witness statement. Then that person is probably a person of interest. Okay. And so they're going to bring them in and read their Miranda rights, just in case. And so that, I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but it's just, that doesn't make sense in my mind. Like, you don't want to tip off someone in this avenue, but it's okay to tip off people in this avenue. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right, because if a predator or someone who was legitimately like abducting someone could give two flying blips about your intentions or whatever, they're going to do what they do. Police they would never tell Brandy or Tyler, in my opinion, or the knowledge that I have with law enforcement and what they do with investigations. I've never seen them willy-nilly tell the parents what their next move is so that they could go tell someone else. So here's what I'm trying to get at, guys. Why would, if you didn't want law enforcement to know, or excuse me, the perpetrator to know, then why are you telling Brooke and Navalis and whoever else, if it was such a hush-hush deal? Investigators do not tell you their next move, guys.
I don't understand that. Why are YouTubers being told things that supposedly only law enforcement has told the family, when that, I mean, that's a big risk that now someone with a big platform or audience will spill that information, or leak that information.
Yes. And I know I'm really bad sometimes at clarifying what I'm trying to say, so I apologize. And I'm running off of 2 hours of sleep. So thank you for clarifying that. Because everyone else is kind of like,
but
I don't understand.
It also goes back to something that Tyler's sister said in a Facebook group recently. She said recently that it was about the voice clip with Brandy saying misdirection is a wonderful thing when they're looking into other things. Tyler's sister was trying to defend that law enforcement basically wanted to, keep the public looking for the Honda Pilot, even if it had been identified, so that it didn't lead on to anybody else. But then you have someone in our Twitter community who I've gotten to know personally, who has been attacked for requesting the 911 dispatch logs. And I watched it unfold on Twitter. But then if you're going to you're going to say that law enforcement is purposely misleading the public, well, that's going to be a big stress on resources, because then you could have false leads come in, and then investigators will drown in leads and they won't be able, it's going to take them a lot longer to work through those, or you're going to have a lot more people calling 911. That's going to put, that's going to
obviously impact, the call center. And what about people who are having dire emergencies and those types of things? So I really didn't understand that either.
And that's exactly why I wanted to call Fruitland PD about these creators telling this information. Because in my opinion, if let's just say Fruitland Police Department doesn't want that information leaked out, or they didn't in fact say that, and it's a lie, I want them to know, hey, this is what's being said, that these people know something that the public doesn't, and they are not directly related to the case at all. To me, I'm like, oh shit, I need to report this. And I did. Or I tried to. I haven't got a call back, but that's alarming to me. Which even, and I know that this is going to start something too, but are they capable of handling the case involving the two parents? If they're in fact saying these things, like I'm really worried about it.
Am I in here?
Yes, ma'am.
So, in terms of what they can handle or not handle, or any conflicts, or their protocol or their behavior, they are not, by they I mean Fruitland Police Department, they are not the only people looking into Michael's disappearance. When, me personally, I do not report any.
Uh-oh, I think we just lost Nicole again.
Dang it. What was she saying? Do you know what she was getting at?
I'm not sure. I'm going to send her a message right now, though.
There we go.
This is ridiculous. I don't report anything. I did one time, and I didn't tell anyone about what I had found. Anyone, not even anyone on my team. And then Brandy publicly called me out in their Facebook group that she had just joined, not even 10 hours prior. And again, there's only 2. And this was maybe a month ago. Publicly called me out for what I had called in, which was startling and concerning, because there's no way that she should have known about that or had any reason to know about it, because it didn't even involve her or Tyler. So any and everything that I get from anyone goes straight to FBI. And I know that these recordings, and when I say that, the little snippets that everyone's like beside themselves about, because they're purposely made to make Brandy look bad, I can assure you, and her friend that hosted the space made it unavailable. So it's a good thing that it was screen recorded, because we can reference back to it. When I joined that, I had only just sent the recordings in their entirety to FBI and discussed them with them. When I joined that space, I was physically ill and shaking. So I think it should be known that, when I say that them being chopped up to make more sense and not be just like this long drawn out thing of just, screaming or laughing and talking about nonsense, I break it down into what is relevant They are no worse, if anything, better than the audio in its entirety. It took everything in me when I joined that space call to not vomit. And I know that it was known because people were quiet and did not give me kind of push back that I had been used to experiencing. So, as far as that police department goes, I found out today that they are not even aware of the full recording.
No way.
They have not heard the full recording. So, for whatever reason, that's being held onto by FBI. It's being held onto by FBI. So we can kind of, you can draw your own conclusion. But, Brandy's aware. Anyone that knows me or has ever spoken to me is aware. It's rare. And not just with this case. It's rare that I will go to a local police department ever. Ever. I go straight to FBI or U.S. Marshals, which would have been my next email.
I think I'm going to have to. And here's why. I'm not retaliating. I am concerned. Extremely concerned, not only at the fact that I got kind of bombarded with being told to shut up without being told to shut up, but there's no response when I do try to tell Fruitland Police Department. It's a little concerning to me. And it's like no one should ever feel like if they are told to please call and give any tips or any of this or any of that, and you just get sent to a voicemail, like, is it important?
I mean, it's not unheard of to send in a tip and never hear back. I mean, it's not even unheard of to send it to FBI and not hear back. If you have something that you think is that important and that it should go to the FBI, it's not uncommon to not hear back. My concern is letting uncleared parents in circumstances we don't know what happened and making them aware of tips that are being called in. And it has caused threats. It has caused threats, physical threats of bodily harm meant to scare a person into silence. And
I've seen them myself, and I won't say who or what, but I've seen them. Yeah.
And I'll say there's one. There's one out there. There are many more from various people. So, and then perpetuating those by then talking about, drawing attention to, offering on Facebook posts to point out and name people who are saying something different is very, very, very dangerous. Very dangerous when we don't know what happened to Michael Vaughan and there is no sign, no piece, no crumb of him anywhere. So, I think everyone needs to keep in mind that this is not about social media. It is not about, being the first one to get information. These are actual factual cases, missing persons cases that can at any time turn into a different type of case. So arguing and bickering and so is, running their mouth and things like that. Not only does it do absolutely nothing to find the 5-year-old child that is missing, but it puts people in physical harm, their families in physical harm. or in danger of physical harm. So, I will put the information out there. I will absolutely not argue and try to feed the information down anyone else's throat. But I will make it a point to make sure that people are aware that there are things that law enforcement knows that you don't know. And so we have to be very careful, very careful. And I am being incredibly polite, and I'm trying to be as what's the word, like diplomatic, I guess, as possible. It is reckless to, if you are not well versed and educated on what is going on here,
Right.
it is reckless, it is dangerous, it is negligent to comment things just to be on the quote good side. Because and I'm sorry, but there are bad people in the world. I mean, there are bad people in the world. And to be totally honest, like, we don't know who that is. So just
Right. Or the
because,
motive,
yes,
potential motive.
exactly. I mean, just because, just because we don't know everything that law enforcement knows, like, please keep in mind that law enforcement knows a lot. They know a lot more than we think that they do. And it has been 8 months, almost 8 months. And Michael has been missing. And more time. And again, I have receipts. More time has been spent trolling social media, screaming at people, going to the police station to report people that are saying things, trying to file legal criminal charges on people who are saying things, than has been going around meeting with people to try to get him an Amber Alert, trying to get different search organizations to come look, organizing. I offered specifically to organize mass ground
Good
searches
night, Barb. Thank you for being here.
for Michael everywhere. And I was told no. We didn't want to waste anybody's time. So, there are things that are concerning, and after this, I don't plan to address it anymore.
And that's why I wanted you to come on here, Nicole. Honestly, all of you, you don't need to be doing this and rehashing this basic stuff. I think she got dropped off. But if Doxy or Millennial wants to say anything about that, like, we should not be fighting for our life here to get the basic information out and squash stupid ass claims, because Michael's still missing. And it's keeping him that way, in my opinion, by going over this stuff again and again.
Type Michael's name in on Facebook if you are not a part of one of his 2 Facebook groups. And it saddened and sickened me that I scroll for maybe 10, 15 seconds. There's maximum 10 posts that I see about him on Facebook. Recently, there's been a lot of YouTube videos, but prior to that, no one was talking about him. Twitter, if you type in Michael Vaughan, it's a plethora of information because we've not stopped since last summer. So in terms of getting his face out there, we're doing that. But getting his story is out there also. And whatever whatever is brought up at this point, I'll say this and only this. It is purposeful. It is meant to point out inconsistencies. It is meant to put forth the things that are true and keep a log, per se, of statements that have been made and changes. You know, I said it before, law enforcement has a rock solid timeline. I'm not going to keep harping on the timeline with people because in discussions that I have had outside of Twitter, I've been made aware that, like, it's not so much that. So all the information that we're kind of talking about over there and trying to get out there is basically to start looking at what could have happened, and potential theories and things that support that, if that makes any sense. I'm trying,
and it's honestly, the police, it's not their job or their right. And I did post a link about me speaking to a retired law enforcement officer who explains exactly what police have the right to do, and that you basically have no rights to know anything about an investigation, even if you're the mom or the dad. There were so many good points in checking convictions live with that law enforcement officer, which cleared up a lot of the things about being told that they're cleared. And they're cleared because we know that, because law enforcement doesn't want people knowing that. That doesn't make any sense. So moving on, it really grinds my gears that you guys specifically have had to hash this over and over. It's a beautiful tactic to
distract.
Yes. And this has been going on in a lot of missing children's cases, especially in the last 3 years. And I really truly think that, certain people who live a certain type of way pick up, and I am not saying the Vaughns are like this. I'm just saying, if it's a pattern and things are happening habitually and it's not stopping, it's because it's working. Just think about that. Distractions are working. Look at Summer Wells, Oakley Carlson.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking through these. I'm just kind of catching up and looking through these comments, and there's an awful lot. I feel like it's like catching up on itself. But someone mentioned the TV interviews and the YouTube videos interviews with her, and what she appears. Best foot forward, best foot forward, best image forward. You'd have to come over. You'd have to come over to Twitter.
I'm enjoying it. I think she got knocked out. I am enjoying Twitter and the break from the crazy. So I know it's almost 2 hours. We literally have 6 minutes to go over this 2-hour live. My beautiful mod took some notes. You're back. Are you back?
It every time. I just, like I said, and the team is really tough in the sense that they understand what is important here, and what people say about us really doesn't matter. And again, if Michael Vaughan is found tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, whenever he is found, and what happened to him is found out, anything that anybody said is literally not going to matter. It's just not going to matter. But I'm not going to, I'm done wasting time that could be spent actively finding connections, talking to people, and looking for him.
Honestly, this is the beauty of YouTube. And now that you have a channel, and hopefully everyone will go subscribe, if a mod can drop that link, you can make a video and say, oh, you have a question about that? Go watch it. I have better things to do. It's beautiful, wonderful. Usually don't get a lot of questions unless in the comment section. And it's organized because you guys are really, really good at what you do. If I needed help finding someone and nothing was happening, I seriously would go to you. Because of the little things and how you can, it's almost like y'all intentionally push the buttons, but it works. I see it. I see it.
I can't.
I know. Okay. I guess that's our sign to at least go over a few things. And everybody, please go like and subscribe to that channel. I'm sure they're going to have some stuff rolling out. I don't know when. It takes a minute to get adjusted to YouTube, so it does. And if you need any help, just let me know, guys.
Thank you. I don't know the rules. I don't know if I should be reading the community whatevers.
Yes.
Because I from what I hear, there's probably things that I do and post over there that's probably going to get me. They're going to get rid of me over here, and I can't have that. So.
Well, it's very petty over here. Twitter is a lot more professional, I think. You think it's bad there. YouTube is like Compton. Because it is what it is. And depending on if you're monetized or not and all that stuff, which if you're not, you're better off in a sense of drama. But if you are, it kind of gets muddled.
Oh, yeah. I don't care a single bit about anyone on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or anywhere for that.
This poor girl. All right. Sorry, Nicole. You there?
Yes. That has anything bad to say about me, I will not get into the drama here, just like I don't over there.
Good.
And and the monetization and stuff, I have never, ever taken a penny. I've been sent e-gift cards to Starbucks and stuff, and I have never even accepted those. I think in terms of motivations, time, things like that, no one will ever tell me what my motivations are for looking for children, because I have a story too, which I don't ever talk about, and it's because it's not about me. But my motivations are the children, and that's it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. And whenever you're ready, we are totally here to listen to that story. But I know that your focus right now is Michael, like everyone else. And I'm going to speak for my subscribers and members that we really do appreciate you guys. We really do. And it pissed me off when I noticed that you are rehashing things over and over that takes away from things you could be doing and your team could be doing more of. So I hope to lessen that burden for you. I really hope I did, and I continue to, and I hope Harsh Reality does that. He's got a lot more following than I do, so I'm pretty sure that, after tonight and the videos that he may put out there, I think it's going to lessen the burden of having to defend and answer all of these things. Because you are good. Y'all are good at what you do. And I'm glad that you're here at YouTube, because we need positive people. And because it's a lot of negativity over here, and it's taking away from cases like Summer Wells and etc. It's been brutal. extremely brutal. So maybe you can, you and your team can maybe sort out that mess, but I will guarantee you they will try to muddle you with drama.
That's perfectly fine.
But I think that you, of all people in your team, could handle it. All right. So jumping into, because it's over 2 hours as of right now, I just want to go over a few things, just a few things that these two talked about. Chat. So it was Navala's True Crime, Brooks from blah blah blah, and Cat Chat's Crime and Coffee, which I love her. I've never had an issue with her.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's the one that follows me, that takes all the stuff off my Twitter and brings back there to talk about.
Oh, I'm sure she does.
I even yeah, I mean, I keep her unblocked so she can keep doing so, but that's interesting that you said that.
Yeah, so my lovely mod SB, she kind of wrote down some interesting points and the timestamp. Okay. So I'm going to start with the general census and then work back. So the general consensus is that the children wouldn't be in the home with the parents if they were suspect. CPS would have the other kids if so.
No.
I think I told somebody the other day, if there was a potential criminal investigation or a criminal investigation underway, that kid takes priority no matter what. I have heard of law enforcement throwing the whole damn family under the bus on certain things because of criminal investigations. Like, we don't know. We can't make that assumption either.
Well, and keep in mind, we do not know what is going on behind the scenes, or what it looks like at the house, or what the situation is with the children. We don't know that. So to say if something went on, CPS would have the kids. Well, once again, where do you see that they don't have the kids? Where do you see that there is no confirmation? There's no confirmation of that whatsoever. I know that the whole CPS thing has been a question over on Twitter. I won't allow anyone to answer it because they're minors. And that's not information that any of us should ever be able to access. So I feel like to use that as an explanation for what you're saying when it's not something that you or anyone else could confirm or deny is not, God forbid, let's say that there was an issue and you're brushing it off as, well, if it was bad, or if something was actually going on, this and this would happen. And you don't know that. You don't know that. And if anything, it enables and it justifies behaviors that you may or may not know that are happening or not happening. You know what I mean?
Exactly. The assumptions make an ass out of yourself sometimes. So we have to make the most sense out of it and not blow it out of proportion of the what ifs, because
it has to be a big statement.
Right.
It has to be a big statement, well, that can't be true because this big statement, so it kind of like shuts it down. But it's just entirely not true.
Yeah, it seems like the universe is saying, don't hit that play button on that video.
Mhm.
Because it's been really difficult.
Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't.
Maybe it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
Because I think that we went over everything that we probably would have just reiterated anyway. And that's exactly what I'm trying to prevent for you guys. I felt awful just disregarding the entire the work that you guys have done and continue to still do, because Brandy keeps talking and certain people keep kind of popping in and out from what I'm gathering. I it's hard to follow sometimes. I'm like, wait, wasn't she mad at them? Or, so,
Yeah. I
but that
mean,
happens.
truth
Personally,
seekers will seek the truth, and
yeah,
then they'll
and I was
stay
just
to
gonna
hear
say,
more truth. So I'm convinced that the people who are invested and want to critically think and want to help find him in any way, and put him first, because I'm sorry, I don't see where anyone's feelings are more important than Michael's, especially not knowing where he is or what is going on with him or the other kids. So to be putting anybody above that and above him, I just, I'm confident that the people that are seeking the truth and Michael and whatever Michael's after that, will be drawn to, the truth,
I
and they'll
agree,
stay.
Nicole. And I just want to
So
say,
I
I
really don't care.
personally,
I don't care to play this and listen to it again. And I don't want it to cause any trouble for you.
y'all hear me?
Honest, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Jessica, is that you?
Yeah, I dropped out for a minute. I just want to say two things really quickly. I completely agree with
Jess,
Nicole.
are you here?
Can you guys hear me?
I see Moxie and
Yes,
Doxy.
ma'am. I hear you, Jessica.
Oh, good. Okay. I really don't. I love you for wanting to defend us. I could not care less what they're saying. I don't believe that law enforcement is looking at what they're saying. And I agree with Nicole in that anybody that wants to know the truth, I will find it, as long as people, kind of know where to go, or at least have the option to go there. That's good enough for me. I'm not going to waste my time with trying to change their minds. That's not why we're here. But the other thing I wanted to say is just to clear this up, because this is still repeatedly happening down in the comment section, that at the first press conference, he said that they had been cleared. That is not true. At the timestamp is 8:06. He says that the tips that had been submitted so far had been cleared. And then at 9:24, he says that the family has been fully cooperative. But at no point in time at any of the press conferences does he say that anybody has been cleared. So for anybody that was looking for that, there are the timestamps. Please feel free to go watch it for yourself. Don't take my word for it.
Does anybody know if it was kind of quiet up there that comment was put out there, or
What was that?
I didn't see that comment, so feel free to let me know in the private chat if you want or not. I just didn't see that.
The comment where they were saying that
I couldn't hear her at all. What comment?
I believe the name was Brandy Gray, I think, was saying that in the first press conference he did say that they had been cleared.
Now I can't hear anything.
Oh, I did hear that. So it was about Brandy Gray saying that they said that the parents were cleared, and they did not.
Correct. At 8:06, he says that the tips that had been submitted at that point had been cleared.
I think people are getting cooperative and cleared messed up. They are not the same thing.
I agree. And I think they probably heard cleared, and they're remembering that he said cleared, and they're just assuming that he was referring to them, but he was not.
Did anybody clear up the description on the t-shirts? Because it's saying that they were unable to work. And the reason why I think this is a big deal is because there are, I listen to lives, and if Brandy's in them, I listen. I don't care how anybody feels about me or whatever. So I thought they were both working. She said part-time. He said, or she said that he worked full-time. So he wasn't able to get out there and do social media stuff because he was working full-time and some other issues, which I get. But did anybody clarify that? And if not, that's cool too. I mean,
I don't know if you guys can even hear me.
I can hear you, Nicole, but I just dropped out a minute ago. Eve, I'm so sorry. I did not hear what you said before that.
It's hard to tell, Eve, because one minute, quite literally in the same sentence, she will say that she is unable to work. and is not working, and Tyler's working full-time providing for their family, and then she'll say that she was working. That's an interesting comment.
Okay. And I really honestly, it doesn't matter to me deep down. It doesn't. The only thing that matters is consistency. Consistency is key in cases. If you don't have anything to hide, you don't lie, and you don't have inconsistencies like this. The small thing, the devil's in the details, right? And I'm not saying that because I assume it's happening. If you do your research like these ladies have, they're not making it up. It's not conjecture. It is. Lies are happening. I don't have to watch my tone with that. It's happening. And if I can prove that, then it is what it is. And there's no reason to be afraid or feel ashamed for pointing those out. That's what we're supposed to do. That's why we're here.
Absolutely.
That's the whole point. Because if we were here because everybody was a good person and it was just predators being bad, we would not be here because we would have nothing. So this is what we're supposed to do and not worry about these small little things that keep being rehashed on purpose as a distraction. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really want to thank my mods for being wonderful and my subscribers for being patient, kind, and understanding to the panel. The people that were in here being sideways were not even my subscribers, so that's just going to happen. But I really think that this was very eye-opening for at least people who really simply do not know what's really going on over there on Twitter. They just don't. They don't know because they have been blindsided by this angelic type. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody's welcome. Even the people that want to call me names on my tweets. I don't care, because the more you come over and call me names, the more people are going to see my tweets about Michael. So, but also, at the very least, it took us 2 hours and probably 15 minutes. But at the very least, at least we played clear-cut explanation to the Miranda rights issue. And it's interesting because someone brought up that comment about 2 cops were in front of the house. She did say that.
Right.
And as for why, I'll refer you back to the clip about what it means to be in custody, meaning you don't feel comfortable leaving, as opposed to being actually in jail, and that's recent. That was a recent thing. And also, real fast to clear up the polygraph thing, and I can produce clips if I have to. They had been interviewed a ton of times from the time Michael went missing in July. He was not read his Miranda rights until February 17th. So we'll just put that out there. But again, if I spent 2 hours explaining what it means to be read your Miranda rights and you heard it with your own ears, and that's the only thing that anybody takes away from this and is clear on, so they can help it be clear to others, then I think we did. I think we did a good job. It was a good time spent.
Yes, ma'am. And I do not mind reiterating and putting that stuff out, in the interwebs, if that's what you want. I'm kind of here to do your bidding on that, because I think you guys have bigger fish to fry in your web sleuthing.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that you can go farther because of how good you are and not worry about this small stuff. I really think that you guys can do more and find more. Every day, it's always some kind of new side twist or thought, because you guys are just that way, beating off of each other. And the more people get angry, you'll notice, the more empowered these girls get. Like you're
yeah, and I'll say this.
Absolutely.
What sent this completely sideways here 2 weeks ago or so? Well, okay, so initially the thing that turned it completely sideways was me posting that screenshot of Fruitland Police Department explaining why they deleted all their posts. That sent people into an absolute tailspin. What made the shit really hit the fan was when I posted several potential exits / entrances to and from their neighborhood. And I mean, everything just come unglued, and it's been crazy ever since then. One thing I did want to say is I heard earlier on lives that they are not ways out. And I will say I have videos from Brandy quite literally taking those routes in and out. Screenshots talking about those routes in and out, and spaces, recordings on my Twitter of her saying that they are viable ways in and out. So the question is, why did we come unglued over additional exits that someone could have, if the theory is that he was abducted, potential exits that they could have taken to do so? Why are we trying to cover up additional options, theories? Why are we trying to cover any of them up? I think everyone should be asking themselves that. They should be asking why there's more pushback over a question.
And pointing out those other options is not us attacking the family
or accusing or anything. It's just pointing out a fact. That's literally all that it is.
And as the viewer, if you draw your own conclusions, it is what it is. That's your responsibility to do what you will with that.
Yeah, a road is a road. Mm-hmm. A road is a road is a road. It's a road by Brandy's house. It's a road by my house. It's a road. So to like with a lot of emotion and anger over a road is just doesn't make any sense to me. My brain likes things to make sense. I don't care what it is. I don't care what the answer is or what happened with something. I do not care. It needs to make sense in my brain.
And not for nothing, but if it were my child that were missing and somebody told me that there was an underground railroad that nobody knew about, I would want them to look into that. I would want every possible option fully investigated.
Jess would be on eBay, like ordering one of those old mining carts that you pump up and down.
I would want anybody else who thought that they might want to look into it. I would be throwing all information at them. I would literally be throwing all information to anybody that I could make look at it.
Tater Chip, that's an understatement. I'll let her explain that.
What?
About Tater Chip says, were you pushed back by the community or the family about the road? And I chuckled.
Oh my.
You just don't know.
Statement.
Y'all need to go to Twitter, y'all. I'm gonna post the links that you need to go to for specific things. I'll help these ladies out so you're not bombarding them. I will put the links to where you need to go for the spaces.
You better have some time.
Kick back, relax, and get your popcorn.
Yes, and Twitter only lets you like replay record. Now, everything we've had this past, I think it's like 30 days, and then it deletes them. But like our previous spaces. So there was one on December 18th. I know that's on YouTube. And then there's one from December 19th who Crystal ran. But I don't believe that was like recorded by her. But I do have a recording that I could provide like a Dropbox link for. Same for the December 26th space. Same for the space that her friend had here recently. After I made it known that I had heard this audio and stuff, they called a last minute space to apologize.
And some of the earlier spaces from, I don't know, December, January, maybe I think Nicole mentioned this earlier, but for anybody who was not here then, they started around, I don't know, 8 or 9, maybe 10 o'clock at night. And I would literally fall asleep in the middle of them and wake back up at 2,
Yes.
3 o'clock in the morning, and they would still be going.
Talking about, I mean, they were private conversations. Like I would, like, I think maybe Brandy wasn't aware. Maybe.
Well, in
They
Idaho,
could see.
It's a one, what is it called? A one consent party state with recording, meaning whoever recorded it, they needed consent for themselves. That's it.
Right. But it also, when you have depending. So if somebody was screen recording, then everybody would not have known. But if the host was recording the spaces, it says recording up at the top. But at any point in time, anybody who is in that space can click on the picture part where it shows every single person who is in there. And at times they had conversations about stuff that was not related, and it almost felt uncomfortable, like you were sitting in on a private phone call. But they could very clearly see that there were people in there that they either didn't know or none of us were hidden in there and listening. They could very easily see us.
Okay, well, they could have at any point said, no, get out, kick you out, right?
Correct.
They did
Alright.
that after a while when
Yep.
the content of the calls was questioned.
Went sideways or got questioned. Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah.
when they found out that somebody had screen recorded and released it, and they were like shocked and appalled that private information had been released to the public, but they were using a public platform and having it on a public call that anybody on Twitter had access to. So
Yeah, that is a common theme that we see, is instead of focusing on things that were said, it's twisted. And this includes the recordings from Crystal, these recent ones that again, no one's heard in their entirety.
And that might be for safekeeping. I don't blame her.
I told
the
you
full conversation doesn't make any of it any better or worse. The parts that everybody has heard still remains exactly the same. Nothing was taken out of all of the context that you need is right there. I think that everything that was part of the context in which what was being spoken about was released in that clip.
Yeah, I was trying to make it easy, and obviously I should have just, which I wouldn't do because it would also be reckless. And there are also things in there that I don't feel are pertinent to Michael's case, and they might be pertinent to character, but not his case. So, I mean, if anything, the parts that were clipped out were things that wouldn't have given you a better impression, but it would have not helped Michael.
It would have been fodder and
Yeah.
a waste of time. And that makes sense. Why would you want to waste people's time? And that's really up to the discretion of who was recording anyway. And I'm sure she's done what she needs to do to send it to whomever. So,
and I'm under the impression that Brandy was aware of a lot of these recordings. They would often do that. For other people in the group. So if they weren't available for like the actual phone call or whatever was happening, they would be able to listen later. We do it for spaces.
I'm really quick. I wanted to show Julia, because she's like, what are you talking about? Spaces, spacecraft, where are we going? So if you go to Sleuthy Goosey, or you can just put Nicole Marie, I think it'll pop up for you. You could just go to her Twitter, and this is what the spaces are right here. So it's like Zoom, but like a mini browser where nobody's on camera and it just records everybody talking, just like what we're doing at StreamYard, but Twitter in a different format. Same theory.
And you also, I'm new still somewhat. I consider myself still new to Twitter. So I just learned this. So it might sound silly if I'm saying it, but to anybody who is not very familiar or comfy with Twitter, you can go to the search button while you're on Nicole's page and type in hashtag Michael Vaughan. And anytime that she has ever typed that out on her page, all of those posts will come up. So if you're, tired of trying to scroll and find things, you could even write out spaces. If she had spaces in the caption of that post, it will pull all of the spaces. I'm not sure that she does, but that's just an example.
Nicole's even working on the clock during StreamYard live panel. Girl, you don't stop. It's amazing.
She never stops. She never sleeps.
Oh, I'm right there with you. Like, I'm looking at mines and tunnels and you name it, I'm looking. I might sound a little funny because I'm just so tired that my muscles are atrophying because they don't have any food or nutrients, because I'm just always trying to find that tip. Especially if you're a boy mom. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but my little one looks almost not identical, but very close, with the blonde hair and the blue eyes and the little nose. And I will literally just cry. Just cry. Because if I were ever in that position, I'd be clawing eyes, and the helplessness feeling, guys. I just cannot imagine it. And I think Nicole does understand that feeling, and when she's ready, she can go there. I just couldn't. I would literally probably drop dead of a heart attack. Like, it's my worst fear. And so I think that's why we work so hard.
I could not eat or speak to my mother to let her know what was going on. I could not sleep. I could barely walk. But I did. And I had and have nightmares. I had and have to leave notes around my house to remind me. So like if he goes to his dad's or my mom's, to remind me like where he is so that I don't panic. I would have tore through every home. I would have gotten shot for going on property that was not mine in order to find my son. Period.
Right? Yep. You said it perfectly. So we all knew, especially Nicole and her team, Jessica, and I mean, these people talk every day or every other day. They're always posting every day. This is no surprise that you're getting already, as we're still streaming, hate. For instance, it has been brought to my attention that they are dwindling Twitter trolls and YouTube Karens that are causing hate and hurt towards Monkey's family. Listen and listen well. You are not investigators.
I don't care about his family. I care about him.
And also, again, this is not an attack on his family. None of us have ever said that they are guilty or that they have had any, that they participated in anything that happened to him. All we are doing is trying to put out facts that are otherwise not being shared. And finding different roads or or whatever the case may be in that neighborhood that people could get in and out of. None of us are saying that Tyler took that road or that Brandy took that road. But if it was an abduction and if somebody did take Michael, then there are other options for them to get out that neighborhood. This is not an attack on his family. I don't know how to make that any more clear.
And if the truth isn't, if the truth feels like an attack, then it means we're headed in the right direction. I'm just going to dig harder and harder and harder in that direction.
Yep.
Exactly.
And
Sorry, I was chewing on.
while we can share Michael's flyers, and we do, we hope, we pray, we are advocating for his safe return. Just sharing his flyers at this point is not even what the FPD is asking for.
Credible tips.
So this post that I see on the screen, this is what I'm talking about. There's contradictions between what apparently here someone close to the family is saying to do versus what it just looks like that's what she's saying the family needs or wants. But then I go back to the statement from FPD, and they are literally saying
Oh, I don't know if it's me or
information that can help find information now.
Yeah, it's her.
If I'm going to choose, someone's
Did she drop out or did I? I can't.
Yeah, I think she dropped out. We lost her, but I just kind of wanted to add to what Millennial was talking about too. It's a good thing to share the posts, and it's a good thing to share the posters, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But on a heavily moderated Facebook page dedicated to Michael Vaughan, I mean, as late just a couple days ago, I was still seeing information posted about the white pilot. So, although it's helpful and good, certainly we need to get Michael's picture out there. We also need to ensure that we have the right information when we're doing so. And I just would like to point that out. Because it's highly frustrating to me when I keep seeing the wrong information, the wrong color of shorts that he was wearing, the white Honda Pilot, things like that. And I just think that's very important.
also the more that you have people, the more that you have people that the parents are saying to them, this is the truth, this is the facts, and they're going with it, and then something happens and they have to go to these other people, and it conflicts, which is what I'm seeing. I am not speaking for anyone on panel but me. I am noticing that depending on the situation that these lovely ladies kick dirt in, things change. I have noticed that. Especially if somebody comes out with new information or more information. Because you have to understand that not every single thing has been out there when it comes to calls, because there's a lot of stuff. This has been, I don't want to say too much and be weird, but not everything has even been reviewed in a sense to its entirety, I guess we would say. So there might be something more or potentially something that nobody thought of, is what I'm trying to get at. So when these ladies catch it or go, hey, wait, she said that this day, she's over here on this live saying that this day, that doesn't make sense. So they kickstart this damage control, and you start to see changes to negate it. And again, I am saying that because I have 2 or 3 examples of them doing that, or excuse me, Brandy specifically, because she's the only one that's on social media. I don't see Tyler or
Well,
communicate.
here since all this has been going on, it's been total radio silence. Complete. Not on Twitter at all. So
From
Right.
Brandy, she means.
the only people that are saying anything is well, I just posted about one, but basically I can't believe you're doing this to the family. You're hurting the family. Brandy's a victim. Hashtag be Brandy strong, which made me ill. And not because it's Brandy, not because I know anything that I know, but I feel like there should be no hashtags for anybody besides Michael right now.
I understand.
Oh, looky there. That's her supervisor at work.
Who?
Ilda is her supervisor at work. She's the one that told me originally I was
Oh.
on the hate list and blocked me.
For wanting to find Michael. It blows my mind.
To be clear, I asked her if she would have time to talk to me about Michael. Not what happened to Michael, not about Brandy or Tyler, just, I wanted to hear about Michael. She said her response back to me, and I can find the screenshot because I know I've got it, was, I'll have to run it by Brandy and Tyler first and get their permission. And if they say that it's fine, then it's fine. And she came back and said that they said it was okay, but that I should know that everything and anything we talk about is going to be told to Brandy and Tyler. And before I could even respond, it was, never mind, I just found out you're on the hate list, and then blocked me.
Because we're in middle school. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Cool. Awesome.
Total transparency. I don't care. That's literally
You would never see that behavior on the lab, on the interview room. You would never see that behavior. You would never see that behavior otherwise.
Uh-uh.
The one thing that I learned from Joe Navarro from FBI, and guys, I am nowhere near I am not privy to law that much, except for when cases arise, I learn around the cases. All right. But I like to listen to random ass YouTube videos about retired, successful FBI agents and law enforcement that are well known. And he said that when you're doing an investigation, you always wonder, what is this person that may be suspect's homeostasis, meaning where they are comfortable being? And they usually don't start out that way because they're trying to be different and throw you off course. But as soon as they start going back to homeostasis, whether that means an asshole or abusive or whatever, drug user, whatever, that's where they slip. And they can't maintain not being their true selves. So the more you see the consistency of, the mask is slipping, basically. And I think Chris Donna said something about that once. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is you're seeing the mask, I believe, in my opinion only. There may be a mask slipping, or she is just distraught and tired of facts being reviewed and put out there. I can't speak for her. I'm just noticing these things. And those are my opinions. And it's questionable, and it's okay. It's okay to question things. And it's not okay for people to not have law enforcement backed facts and tell you that they are. That was 100% inappropriate, what happened to me and what I assume is happening to these ladies. Where there's lies one day and then half truths the next, and it gets so muddled that no one knows their ass from their elbow. That is intentional. And this post, I'm wrapping up, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I'm foaming.
We get it. Plus, we're windy. I mean, you'll learn that.
Yeah,
You have to put a timer on us and just shut the whole thing down.
I know, because we're at 2:40, so 2:45. I'm just shutting it down. I'll even put a timer on. But anyway, look at this post. Like, that's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. We are not doing anything that thousands of creators do on a daily basis around the world. We have not threatened. Nobody has done anything that I would think you would get sued for, Matter of fact, I feel like the people that are coming at me telling me that things are fact that when they're not from law enforcement is very concerning.
Very.
Very concerning. And I don't know if that falls under coercion or obstruction of justice, which I asked that law enforcement cop on checking convictions. That's why I posted the link. It just happened to fall in my lap that day. And you have to be careful.
I wanna address that comment
Okay.
before we go. Because then I do have to go to bed. Jesus Christ. Law enforcement read them their Miranda rights. They're aware and clear, and they understand that, and they chose not to seek legal counsel. We asked them, and also in the space tried to persuade them that it would be smart to protect themselves and their family if they did obtain legal representation after having been read their rights. And she said, well, we ain't got nothing to hide, so why would we have to get a lawyer? I would say the way that law enforcement's looking at it is you don't have a lawyer and you're still just kind of saying whatever, so they're going to let you. I mean, they're going to let you. They'll let anybody talk themselves straight into an arrest warrant, obviously. It's very what's the word that I'm looking for, Eve? Where you think that you're like untouchable, that there's going to be no consequences. It's almost like anytime
Sociopathic.
like anytime I say something, it's like, how dare you point that out? Yes, enough rope. That's exactly it.
There you go.
Enough rope.
Self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna respond and then let's wrap it up. I'm so grateful that you guys came on. This is kind of what happens here on YouTube with live panels. This is kind of what you're looking forward to. But hopefully a better connection. But
my internet re-ups here in like 5 days. I've got this Walmart internet, so it'd be better then to talk.
Perfect timing.
But I will tell you, everyone was so excited whenever I went in there and was like, Eve's going to have a live, because they just love you.
I was excited that it was a live. I didn't even know that that Nicole was going to be on it. I just thought that you were going to do a live stream, and I was super excited about it all day. I didn't find out that Nicole would be on, or that any of us could come on until right before it started. But I want to thank you again for giving us the platform, and all of your viewers, and thank everybody for tuning in. I've seen a lot of comments from people who have not looked into this case at all. And I appreciate all of you taking the time to do that as well, because the more eyes that we can get on this, the better, in my opinion. So thank you all.
Absolutely. I'm here to help. And anything you need, guys, anything at all, I will be more than happy to help with that. I want Michael Vaughan home just as bad as anybody else. You can hand out as many flyers as you want until you're blue in the face. The point is, is that we need to use our creative minds to push forward with more credible thought processes that will help find him. Flyers are great. It keeps him out there. It keeps him in your mind. But flyers are not tips. Flyers are reminders. And I think that maybe they might be confused. It's to help guide you to a possible tip, which is great. But there's more work to do. And the more you hinder that, the inevitable is going to happen. Okay, it's just the facts. It's only a matter of time before something else comes up to be investigated, even if it means nothing and it goes nowhere. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop, especially with these children. So the hate doesn't get you anywhere. It just puts fuel to the fire that shouldn't be one. We want your Michael home. We would never want our babies to be in that position or us be in yours. We are not trying to attack you. And it can be different, but the choice is yours. It can be different. If you are allowed to go onto these platforms and explain over and over again what you're doing, then why not answer the questions as best and honest as you can? And if there's nothing to hide, there should be no dilemmas. None. And that's all I'm going to say. I am not going to engage in the trolls or the drama anymore. It is not worth it. We have work to do. And that's all I have, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I couldn't have asked for a better panel and a better live. And we do have other people that have great skill sets that are different. And that's kind of my channel. I dabble into everybody, the logical, tarot readers. I don't care. Whatever gets your mind, going. If that leads to a tip, I could care less. And so hopefully that, you guys will be back. And again, everybody, please go to Twitter and check out, the Twitter spaces and look for yourself and see what you think. That's all you have to do. The basics are not hard if you really just read and research. And that's all I've got. Is there anything else that anyone would like to say or sign off with?
For Michael. Let's do it for Michael.
Blue hearts for Michael, please, in the chat. Thank you so much, guys. I will be getting in touch with you, Nicole, and just let me know if you need anything. Anybody on panel, let me know what you need, and I will do what I can. And good luck on your new channel, everybody. Again, please go subscribe and like. The link is at the top.
Thank you again.
Sure. Have a great night. Get some rest. Drink some water. Hug your babies. Hug your grandbabies. Hug your fur babies. And I will see you guys on the next live. Bye, guys.